Well, you need to get at least two.
No, I'm not, no.
We're out of state. What,
Yeah,
did
Christine would hunt me down and kill me.
When I worked here, she had gotten a gift for So, yeah, let's do that and we'll get started.
So on this, do you want me am I okay, Steve? or-
Yep, you're good.
There they are.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Hi. Just scooch by you to
Look at that. They came together.
Yeah, why don't you guys?
Well, we were talking in the parking lot on the way in. I know we're late, so.
Oh, you're good.
Here, 'cause I'll be leaving in a couple minutes, so.
Oh, okay.
Brian was just cussing you out. It's pretty.
I know,
pretty
I know.
wild.
Shouldn't have to work on language, right?
True. At all? Thanks, Steve. Add a new agenda. He's gonna be on.
All right, bad, bad meeting for you then.
Yeah, it is.
Next step.
Yep, there's few tripping hazards here. We are live. We are live. Do we have anybody participating?
Russ and I believe
Steve's
Steve's
gonna be on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
right. Well, let's call our meeting to order here. It's 8:33. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're gonna start with the introduction of guests. And so online, we have our esteemed legal representation with Russ Genzel and Steve Meyer of Harris Beach. Thanks, guys, for joining us online. And in the room, we have Stephen Boisvert, who will be a new board member joining us. And so excited to have you here today. Thanks for coming in. And
we thought it would be good for Steve to sit in on an early meeting, just
Yeah.
to kind of see where things are heading, and as of next meeting, he'll be official.
pending the county legislature appointment. So thanks for being here, Steve. Thank you. Guys online. With that, we're going to start with an executive session, and we do need to have a short executive session.
Yeah, real quick though, Kim's got 15 minutes, so Steve Boisvert is here because he will be filling the role. Kim will be leaving,
Got
so
it. Do that first.
we did get a small little thank you gift for Kim for her service. Thank you so much for everything. You probably should have also got something for Noah.
Yeah,
That was,
I know.
You screwed up on that
Play
part.
with the ribbons.
Yeah.
Sugar and cinnamon all night.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your contributions over the many years you've been on the board.
Yes, we're gonna miss you.
Yeah,
We'll
I
miss
miss you
Kim.
guys. I don't know what to do on Wednesdays anymore.
You can still come.
Public's invited.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim.
Oh,
Yes, thank you very much.
It's been interesting. I've learned a lot. So I really enjoyed my time here. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Yes, with that, and now that we've welcomed everybody, I do need to ask for the guests to step out because we do have an executive session. Steve, I think, can
Welcome, babe.
stay.
Steve can stay. I checked with,
Yeah.
it's up to it's the board's discretion who can stay for executive session, so.
Okay, like to ask for a motion to enter into executive session.
To discuss
The
company
particular-
financials and personnel matters.
And the particular employment history
Yeah.
of an individual.
So moved. Three.
Second, Mary Ann.
Second, Mary Ann. All right, we are in executive session and we'll wait for Mike
should be, but we gotta wait for the delay. Very good.
All right, could I have a motion to exit executive session and re-enter open session?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a
Second.
Amy, all right, thanks. We're back in open session, and we'll move on with our agenda items here. The next up is the approval of our minutes from our prior meeting, which was November 15th. Doreen had them in the packet. Let's start
I
with
have a
with
full
motion.
copy here if anybody wants to look at them.
Move to approve.
Second, Serene.
Seconded, Serene. Are there any comments or recommended changes to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's carried. So item 4 here are changes in the agenda, and I know we have a couple, so.
And we'll need to remove item number 5, loan modification for Fluor Enterprises.
Okay.
Add coaching equipment bus sales lease. And finally, ag loan fund, well, not just ag loan fund, loan interest rate discussion.
Okay. And then one after that to Personnel Committee recommendation. Okay. Any others then for the agenda? Okay. So then we'll move on to number 5, which is the finance report.
Okay, I have check number 6397 to 6425 and E147 to E151 totaling $48,877.30. I have check number 1292 from the revolving loan fund for $2,299.43. And then the closeout of the irrigation account, check numbers 1006 to 1014, totaling $8,685. That one's been a long time coming, but we'll get that. And then I have 2 checks from Horizon. We're not having that meeting today, but still 2 checks for payment totaling $97,408.55.
Okay, we also had our year-to-date profit and loss and balance sheets in the packet,
Yep.
and loan capitalization reports, our borrowers' performance histories in there.
If anybody's got any questions on any of those that were sent out.
I'd ask for a motion to accept the finance report and approve paying those specific checks.
So moved, Serene.
Serene?
Second. Amy.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's carried. And then we'll move on to the status or the management reports.
No updates.
None for Doreen. All right, Mike?
I don't have much either, just with the loans and agenda items.
Okay. What about you, Steve?
I can talk more about that rural equity form.
If you can do it in a measured way with I'm bringing out an audit. No, I'm just kidding.
It was just kind of interesting, the challenges that the communities are facing, specifically the climate action plan came up over and over and over again, and we've talked about it numerous times. Nobody, regardless of industry or segment, can figure out how this is ever gonna work. It just can't, there's no capacity to be able to do this thing. I don't remember if I put it in here or not. In one township, if the schools added the electric buses, they're gonna have to replace two bridges because the bridges couldn't withstand the weight of the new electric school buses. And there's not gonna be any funding for that. There was further discussion. I guess the part that alarmed me a little bit is there was enough discussion in this. I just assumed at some point there's no way it's gonna work. we gotta delay this thing. Like, how does a school get kids to a sporting event or a field trip or whatever it may be? And they said, well, no, they'll have a card, and when they go to plug the bus in at whatever school they're at or location, the school will get charged. That's making the assumption that school has the various different charging stations and sizes to fit whatever bus that is. And the question is like, well, will it charge in time? How far of a trip is it? Will it charge enough to be able to get back? There wasn't a whole lot of answers to that side of things, although apparently the state did tell them, well, the concept would be you'll use the electric buses for your short runs to start, and then technology will catch up. And by the time the full implementation's in place, the technology will be there, and you'll be able to take buses on a longer trek. Still not addressing the fact the roads and the bridges and such may or may not be able to hold up to the additional weight. The other thing that I don't ever really think about here is on the mental health side of things, and understanding how the state has sort of seemingly purposely, systematically, and I'm sure it was from financial reasons, sort of dismantled a lot of the state facilities to handle that, and sort of put the onus back on local counties and municipalities to try to handle the mental health challenges. And talking to there's various school superintendents there and public safety officials and such, and say the quantity and severity of mental health cases is increasing.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a real challenge. And I think it kind of stuck out the one story. One of the sheriffs said, we will send a individual to a facility that needs mental health help, and they don't have any beds or availability, so we have to bring them back, and we're traveling over an hour to get to the nearest place
Yeah,
that can even see
Clifton
them.
Springs. So when they closed that at Soldiers and Sailors, I have a campus full of 1,000 teenagers. So things are gonna come up where they're gonna need help. They have to bus them or they have to drive them to Clifton. And it's usually either the sheriff. So when it comes to, a thoughtful use of resources, community resources, it is
Well,
not
and
good.
to finish this particular example, he said, we might bring that individual back because there's no place to put them. We have to let them out.
Yep.
Then they are still upset and agitated, and they end up doing something that results in us having to arrest them, where
Yep.
we could have had a facility for them. So just a lot of that stuff being thrown, and as I mentioned, I kind of left there hoping that, okay, there's some light, but instead I think we keep a lot of Albany keeps fighting on we're discussing odd topics that don't impact the real issues going on, and keep making weird, questionable laws and regulations and such. But it was interesting to see the rural counties trying to come together. Like, hold on a second, we have all the same issues that inner city does. Just they might be a little different, or tweaked a little bit, but and on top of that, transportation challenges.
I think that I'm optimistic, though, that the solutions will come from rural communities, because historically, rural communities have a way of coming together and sharing scarce resources in order to solve a problem. I like the solutions that come from the community as opposed to ones that are mandated, and
Sure.
I think that they work better typically.
Mhm.
So as difficult as this moment is, I'm really happy to be part of this board, because I feel like we might be able to make a difference.
And I think that was kind of the takeaway from that forum, was that, all right, there's people talking, and even within it, you could see right away everybody knew sort of one another. The superintendents clearly knew
Oh,
one
yeah.
another. The emergency management folks knew one another, and they're all trying to figure out how to.
Our superintendents are so good. Our leaders of BOCES are so good. They know these communities incredibly well, and so again, that's what makes me optimistic. We're trying to de-escalate Steve before
There
he
you go.
says
Did I
something.
do good? I got through without seeing.
Nice job, Steve.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Thank you guys for the written
It's dry in
updates
here.
and expanded expanding on the different initiatives. Anything else to highlight today? Good. All right, then we'll move on to our action items today for approval. We'll start with the first one, which is a pending loan approval for Anka Ventures LLC.
Anka Ventures LLC is the owner of Spotted Duck Creamery, operating a duck egg frozen custard stand on Route 54 in Penn Yan, heading towards Dresden. They're expanding, growing, looking to purchase additional equipment to meet production demand. So they've come to us requesting a $67,000 loan. Term would be 5 years. Interest rate 1%, assuming they have sign up for automatic payments, 2% if not. And collateral on the loan would be a UCC filing on the equipment, specific UCC filing on the equipment purchased with our loan proceeds and personal guarantees from Sam Solomon and Oscar Bank. Total project cost is $135,000, and they are projecting to create three new full-time equivalent positions over the next 3 years.
Okay. This is one that has a relationship with Alliance National Bank and that I'm familiar with there, so I'm going to abstain from the discussion and a vote.
Move to approve. Amy.
Second, Serene.
Thank you, Serene. All those or any further discussion on this one? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Which I abstain. Right, that's carried.
Does anybody else notice, I know you say Anka, but it's Christmas, and so I always think Paul Anka. Jim and I are the only ones that get that, because it's an old song.
Yeah, I got it.
Every time his name comes up on the radio, I'm like,
Sure.
it's not Anka, it's Anka.
Oh my
Paul
gosh.
Anka.
I am smiling and nodding.
Yeah, you don't
I have no
know.
idea.
You're too young.
So, moving on, pending loan request for Savor Finger Lakes.
Yep, Savor Finger Lakes, doing business as Once Finger Lakes is a regional wine tasting room on Route 14. They are looking to purchase some additional equipment that will help increase operations efficiency, diversify, and deliver a better customer or guest experience. Loan request is for $37,000, 5-year term. Again, 1% interest rate, assuming automatic payments, 2% if not. We have an existing mortgage on the property from a prior loan, so that would stay in place. We would put a UCC filing on general assets and specific filing on coolers to be purchased and furnishings and fixtures, and personal guarantee from Antonio Arias. It's a $97,000 total project cost, and they are projecting to create 2 full-time equivalents over the next 3 years.
Okay, thank you, Mike. As for a motion to approve that pending loan request?
It's so moved, Amy.
Second.
Second.
Mary
Ann. Any further discussion or questions on this project? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. Any abstentions? All right. So then we have another pending loan request, this one for Upstate Brewing.
Yep. Upstate Brewing Company is a microbrewery started in Elmira, looking to open another location here in Penn Yan. It would be in a vacant retail space located within the Microtel on Elm Street. They are looking for assistance in purchasing some equipment and furnishings, fixtures, and final touches to complete the tasting room here in Penn Yan. The loan request is for $75,000. It would be a 5-year term. Again, interest rate at 1% with automatic payments, 2% without. And collateral would be UCC filing on the assets, a specific UCC filing on the equipment and belongings going in the Penn Yan location, and a personal guarantee from Mark Newman and his wife, Angela Newman, I believe it is. Yes, Angela Newman, Mark's wife. Total project cost is $150,000, and they are projecting to create 3 full-time equivalents over the next 3 years.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I'd ask for a motion to approve this loan request.
So moved.
Amy?
Second.
Thank you, Janice. Any questions on this? No? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, that's carried. Then our next item, item 4, is a loan modification for Giving Tree Cidery.
Correct. We recently approved a $100,000 loan to Giving Tree Cidery, which is going to be a new cidery and tasting room on Studervant Road, on the east side of Cuca Lake off of 54. They have requested that we modify the terms of the loan, allowing them some time to complete the construction of their tasting room facility and production facility. They're requesting 6 months of interest only. We would maintain this 60-month term, so the payments would be amortized over 54 years to be paid in full at the end of 60 months.
Okay. I'd ask for a motion to approve the 6-month interest-only period at the beginning of that loan.
So moved, Serene.
Thank you, Serene.
Second, Amy.
Second, Amy. Any further discussion or questions for Mike on that one? Okay. Marianne, we have I'm about to ask for a motion to approve, we already had the motion in second, to approve the 6-month interest-only period for Giving Tree Cidery, so I'm going to call for the vote on that now. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, that is carried. So we removed the next loan modification, and we have original item 6, which was construction lease renewal.
Yeah, looking to renew Keeney Construction, who rents a series of offices from us here on the first floor. Works out to just a little over 830 square feet. Monthly rental rate is $1,475 a month, 6-month term rate. He's looking for a 6-month lease, and then he's likely going to be moving on to his own facility somewhere. So 6 months, 832 square feet, $1,475 a month.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Amy. And a
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Any abstentions? And I will abstain from that one because he's a Lions National Bank loan customer that I'm familiar with. I'll abstain.
You're on a roll.
I
That's
was on
what
a roll
you know,
there.
this
Yeah.
meeting, that's good for Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called out at our holiday gathering for being worthless. Make sure I
He's
get a couple
holding on to
votes
that
on
one. He's holding on to that one.
All right,
Thanks,
so
Marianne, again for that one.
next item is a lease renewal, a new lease for coaching equipment, bus manufacturer.
Yep. Coaching equipment bus sales.
Bus sales.
Looking to renew their lease for what we call the Canandaigua building out back in portion of the Canisius buildings, which is more of a storage shed area. Canandaigua building's 10,272 square feet. Canisius is 3,600 square feet. 5-year term at $4,066 a month for Canandaigua, $510 for the Canisius. And then a 1-year, I didn't mention this would be a 1-year lease for 90 parking spaces within the parking lot for $3,000 a month. That one we're gonna review on an annual basis to see where they are.
Motion to
Steve.
approve.
Thank you, Amy. And a
Second.
Any further discussion on this one? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. Our next item is a new addition as well, and that is for a general discussion and maybe an action item on a rate proposal or updating our interest rates on our ag-centered loan funds.
Would be just ag, actually. We have a couple different ag's the big one. Our agricultural loan fund's at 1% interest rate. And that was set up many years ago when the interest rates were were lower, and it was meant to be an incentive to get agricultural-based businesses to do whatever their projects were. As interest rates have climbed considerably, there was a discussion at the loan review committee of adjusting that interest rate that would still be an incentive for and a help to businesses to utilize it, but maybe reflect a little bit more of the given market conditions. The same sort of holds true for our GAIN fund, which is another agricultural fund. That's an acronym for Growing Agricultural Industry Now. And then an RBAG account, we have
Rural Business Enterprise Grant, which is ag-based as well.
so the concept within the committee that was brought up was to set that interest rate, which we have the ability to do, at 50% of prime. That would flex based on where prime goes, and then have a floor of 1%. We would have never got to 1% at 50% of prime, so there was some discussion whether it should be 1 or 2, and I thought it'd be easier to just leave it at the 1 as what that base level would ever get to. So at 50%, that's still a pretty significant savings to those companies, and it would still allow us to actually gain a little bit more interest on it to be able to lend back out to future companies.
All of the other loan funds outside of those 3 that Steve called out have been set at 80% of the prime rate. So the regular loans are at that higher rate. These had an extra incentive at the 1%. So it's just bringing that up a little bit, but it's still a significant increase, or 30% discount to the regular loan fund that we have. So the committee had discussed that and threw around a few different options, and then arrived at the recommendation to set it at 50% of prime for those 3 funds. So that, I guess, that'd be the loan committee's recommendation to bring forward to the board for approval. I don't know that we need to define a period of time. We just would set it at this, but it doesn't need to. It's not necessarily a permanent thing either. If the rate environment changes, that is something we can revisit at any time.
Are there any pending applications right now where somebody would?
That's a good question. So the committee, if someone had already applied under the auspices of that, the 1%, we would honor that rate. This would be for any new applications from, if it's approved from this point forward.
Yep, today. I don't have any agricultural-based applications that I've received as of right now. I have 1 application internal, but it would be from our Horizon Entrepreneurial Fund. So we're in a good spot to be able to change this if the board decides to do that. And all applicants going forward would be notified of that.
It makes sense to me. If a project is meaningful and it's going to move forward, and our help is there at 4 1/4 versus 1%, it's not going to deter the project. And when the commercial rates are more in the 7s or 7.5 to 8 right now, it's still a significant discount. Right. Well, let's call for a motion to approve the recommendation to set the rate on those funds at 50% of prime, Wall Street Journal prime.
So moved, Sweeney.
Second, Amy.
Second, Amy. Any further discussion or questions on that? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it's carried. The last item for today then is, the name of it is a Personnel Committee recommendation. And so the Personnel Committee has recommended salary increases that were shared with the board for the staff members at the FLEDC and shared in executive session. And that, I'd like to bring that up for a vote to accept that recommendation and approve those increases.
Motion to approve, Amy.
Second, Serene.
Serene, good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, carried. Thank you. That concludes our agenda today and our last meeting of the year. Next up is January 17th. So as we have been accustomed to, Doreen will reach out, and if we could all confirm our attendance on that, that'll be good. And if not, then let us know ahead of time.
Yeah, so I have, I know that I have a conflict in February, March, and April of this year. I could call in, but I will not be local. So if there's either a way to change the meeting date or if you need a quorum.
You can call in, you just have to post where you'll be
Okay,
and then allow the public, if there were any such interested in doing so, would be able to also come to wherever you are and be part of the meeting.
As long as
like
we
my
have-
hotel room?
Yeah. I know, scary, isn't it?
Whatever.
Is
I-
it-
You're allowed to vote, have your vote count. If we know ahead of time and if it's stated where you're gonna be,
Yeah,
then the public would have the option of participating at that location. Then we can count the vote. If anybody can call in and here
yeah,
at any time without that, it's just that their vote can't
okay.
count.
Yeah, I will post exactly where I'm gonna be. Where in the world is Amy? In fact, in February, I think I'm in Hawaii. So
Well, I'll meet
We'll-
you there,
Amy,
Amy.
What we'll do,
There.
we'll work with everybody so we get what those specific
What the words
requirements
are.
are and share it out to the board members. Because I know a few of us do travel from time to time for
Yeah.
work, and so that's something that we can allow participation by just making notice of that. That'd be
Okay.
great, and that'd be a fine way to do that.
everyone wants to participate from Hawaii
Yeah.
in February.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for all of your
Yes, thank you.
contributions throughout the year. You know, I think the organization accomplished a lot in 2023, and they're all meaningful projects for the community and the greater good. You know, they like to talk about it being a better place to live, work, and play, and I think throughout the project mix, you know, there a lot of towards that end was accomplished this year. So thank you for all your contributions to that and to the staff for a great year.
Yeah, congratulations to
Ended
the
up
staff.
with 36
Thank you.
projects, 36 projects, 11 attractions, 59 planned jobs created, and just almost 31 million in planned capital investment.
That's great.
Fantastic.
Great
It's
year.
great. Yeah, thanks again. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
A motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Now we're adjourned.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, they're still here.
Hi. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Russ.
What's all the cars in the parking lot? I've never seen this lot so full of cars.
Full occupancy.